Good morning. Give me a second to find the feed. I'm going to talk about Atlantis today. I'm pretty excited about that too. It's a change of pace for me. So, good morning. I'll give it a second till some people get here, but I want to talk about Atlantis. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm going to switch around. I'm going to talk about probably Atlantis, the Emerald Tablets, and then shift back to the Earth Chakras, which we'll be doing too. So I'm kind of all over the place if you know me, but I have so much information to try to get out. So much information to try to get out. So it kind of, I'm a Gemini moon. It makes me kind of all over the place. Good morning. We're experiencing some ups and downs energetically while I wait for some people to find me. I'll go ahead and tell you a little bit about the energy. I now understand what I was channeling about the effects of the moon lasting for like 3 weeks. So we still have a lot of lunar energy on this planet, and we're getting nailed with solar energy too at the same time, and it creates an interesting dynamic. There's been a lot of highs and lows energetically. We're seeing a lot of ascension symptoms too suddenly. Mainly stomach issues and head issues I'm noticing this shift too. So that's all the garbage clearing out on a soul level, and it's just so perfect because it ties into what I'm going to talk about right now. So give me a sec, I'll get started. I just have to give people a minute. Oh, I added that creepy guy. I needed him in fast. Hold on. The one who sacrifices goats, I think. I wasn't paying attention. Wait. Hold on. This guy. Undo action. Don't let that guy in this group. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to get started. But this is everything to do with, well, why can't I remember these past lives if I lived in these places? Well, this is our school, and we're getting tested right now. We've been getting tested this whole cycle. And Atlantis has everything to do with the fall of humanity, consciousness, and how we all ended up here right now during this time, which is a question, I like to ask, right? Why now? Why Prison Planet? Why these lessons? And why are we all here now during this time experiencing this? If you have questions like that, Atlantis can give you some answers to what we're all doing here. So it's kind of hard for me to put a lot of information on video. I'm going to try the best I can. Atlantis was a place that existed a long time ago. I am not a historian. I'm not a historian when I try to explain this stuff, but this would be a place that existed up until the end of the last cycle. It actually caused the pole shift type experience that the people that lived on Atlantis experienced when the island sank in a sort of way. It shifted many of the continents as well. This was a place where gods walked among humans and extraterrestrials did too. This was a time during Egyptian times and during Atlantean times when there were very real craft landings on this planet, and extraterrestrials actually came here to try to teach. This was a place where mermaids were real and people most likely could probably breathe underwater. There's not a lot of information about Atlantis. I did go on Google just to get a brush up before I did this video, and I never learned anything new. I always joke, but it's true, right? I was only on Google for like 10 hours. Didn't even find anything new out. Okay, so there's not a lot of information. Where does these stories of Atlantis come from? Mainly Plato. I was talking to my husband about Plato because I remember having to read his stuff in high school, but they sure as fuck didn't mention Atlantis. Maybe I would have been more into it. Alright, so a lot of these notions of Atlantis, twin flames, come from Plato and his writing. They tried to say that these are fake stories. He said no, these were legends that were passed down during my time, and that these are very real records, very real accounts that he was trying to put, pen to paper. We have a lot of information that came through about Atlantis from the work of Edgar Cayce. He had so many references. I believe he had thousands of references to Atlantis doing his past life readings that he would do. And he, I believe, channeled a lot of information about it, including prophecies tying the United States with what is happening now to, Atlantis and the rising of it. I think we can just understand that it was a beautiful place. They had a lot of advanced technology that I doubt people could grasp, using crystal technology, spiritual technology of that types of sorts. So basically what happened is it was a beautiful place. There are different accounts, so I can't really tell you what happened to Atlantis. There is some speculation that Martians might have came and, distorted things there. I'm not sure though, so I won't, I only tell you things I know to be true. Who knows what happened? It was a beautiful place, heaven on earth. The same bullshit that we're seeing now, but from the lower rung, we're getting like the bottom stick of it now. The same shit happened where they just built militaries, unprovoked wars, right? The same shit going on now. But there was something really important that happened during this time. This was a time back then and during Egyptian times when the law of one was being practiced. There were many messengers of the law of one that were on this planet to heal and to teach the law of one galactically. A lot of Atlantean knowledge came to Atlantis galactically. A lot of Egyptian knowledge came to Egypt from Atlantis. So there was a lot of messengers of the law of one. I consider myself one of those messengers. I'm trying to teach people about oneness, coming into alignment with source, right? We are kind of like those messengers here. So there were many messengers of the law of one. This was a time when probably I see it happening now too. I see everything playing out again, right? You should have deja vu with all this. Okay, so I see the same shit happening where there were groups of awake people. These were times of learning. They had so much spiritual information being taught in these temples and these places, and they had many people that were there on spiritual paths. But at a certain point, people decided not to wake up the collective. Let them sleep. That was a very real choice that was made. Not to wake up everyone, but to hide the knowledge. To keep certain groups of people asleep so that they could work and be slaves, right? And then there could be the woke people, and they would hide this knowledge. That was a decision that was made. People had amazing abilities that hopefully we're headed back to. People had amazing abilities. This was at the least a fourth dimensional state of consciousness. So was Egypt. They had amazing spiritual abilities. But I'm telling you, Egypt was nothing like Atlantis. This was after the fall, and we're still trying to kind of get back to this Atlantean level of consciousness. Okay, so people used their abilities in bad ways. This is why we were stripped of our power collectively, all of humanity, this entire cycle. I don't care who you were. We're just coming back into that power now. And this whole cycle taught us nothing more than to use our abilities responsibly. Hopefully we're awakening and we want to heal. We want to help people with our abilities. We want to heal the planet. We want to make a difference, because back then it wasn't like that. That's the problem. That we traded our power for some kind of illusion of material security. And this had very real consequences. There was a hole that got ripped open in the time continuum, and all these spirits and bad stuff got let in. They had to wipe the whole planet, I'm pretty sure, out. The whole planet, like a pull shift, right? I don't even know. So, real shit happened, and when that happened, humanity fell. Yes, fell in level of consciousness, fell, and had to start all over. Usually that's what happens at the end of a cycle again anyway, but we're not doing that this time. We're not starting over. We are meant to change this path we are on. Why now? Why are we here? Because if you look around, you'll see the same shit happening, that there are wars being implemented on countries unprovoked, power struggles, control dramas, the government using their power in bad ways, right? The very same shit that we created is just on a replay, and we're meant to wake up, and we're meant to change the course of history. We're meant to, take back our power and use our abilities to heal the collective, to uplift everyone. We need to remember the law of one, and that we're all connected. So if we have half of the population asleep and destroying themselves, it's going to destroy us on some level and our whole reality. So we do need to awaken the people around us. Yeah, this is all what this is about. Your whole life. Your whole life. It's what it's about. So that we would have an understanding of how it is. We've seen so many power dramas, control dramas on so many levels, and that goes in many ways. That these powers were being used, traded in so many ways, but it just all ties to what we're doing here, and that is the test. We are coming back to our psychic spiritual abilities, slowly, but it's happening. And you know, if you want to elevate faster, use those abilities to help people, because that's how we amplify them, that's how we grow. We're being tested on how we're using the power that we have. There's a reason why so many people are asleep too. They can't harm us. It's like a little kid timeout from the universe. I'm not even joking. That there is a reason why some people are like talking to a brick wall and you can't get through to them too. The universe sees us like little kids that couldn't play with our toys. We were not playing nice with the toys that we had. Maybe if you're stripped of your power, when you get them back, you'll appreciate your abilities more. On every level. So we got a lot of understanding going through this life, just this life alone, let alone the whole cycle. At least you can remember this life. We got a lot of spiritual understanding that is meant to take us back to ourselves, our abilities, what we're doing here. We should feel a sense of responsibility. Why do you think we want to light work and heal and help everyone? We feel a sense of responsibility that is deep collectively. For how things turned out. We tried to help and made it worse on a lot of levels. The knowledge that we had was used against humanity to enslave them. It was never intended for that. We came here to liberate this planet on every level and to teach people how to free their soul, not to, you know, karmically entangle ourselves up in a knot. There's a lot of Atlantean knowledge surfacing now. I see it everywhere. That's what I'm doing here. Right? It's the same shit, and I see it everywhere. I see it flooding Facebook. I see it flooding YouTube. These were higher level consciousness places that were just very connected to source, that source energy that we're always talking about. They were very connected to it. They had amazing abilities. They could build things with their mind. This was a place where if I had a negative thought, it could manifest into a war instantly, because it was at a much higher level of consciousness. So, you know, these people were very adept over self-mastery on so many levels. And we're so connected spiritually on so many levels. And then we had this fall and became very disconnected. We get to have that perspective as well. They built these sacred sites and, you know, ley line area places with thought, right? Telekinesis, thought, moving objects, manifesting things out of thought. And that's where we're headed back to. Now, I said this planet has not been at a fourth dimensional level of consciousness since Atlantis in the same way. And we're headed back there now. So we're headed back to those frequencies. I can feel the earth, its frequency is changing. It is pulsating more, like vibrating. Like you could, if you go meditate, tune into the earth, you will feel it pulsating more and more. That it is raising its frequency and taking us all with it, hopefully. And so, you know, the energy is changing fast on this planet and we're headed back there. It's the first time an entire planet has tried to transition back into those higher densities too. We're talking about Atlantean abilities today. I have so much I'm going to start to put out here on these subjects. We're just going to talk Atlantis instead of weed from now on. I'll have time for a lot more videos. I'm real excited about it. So I'm going to start flooding some Emerald Tablet information out too, because, you know, you have to understand that any of the religious structures on this planet came from these old places. Yup, Jesus. Someone told me today on my personal page, they had visions, Jesus is coming back. And I was gonna write, like, not in my reality, not on my page. I just skipped over. I told my admins there's a better shot of us having a government false flag alien attack than Jesus coming back at this point, I think. That's just me and my reality. But you need to understand that these deities that you may recognize, such as Jesus, came from Egyptian times and even older from that. And we can really see how these religions came into being. People shifted away from the law of one and oneness and into these religions. And, you know, we saw that the Pharaoh got murdered in Egypt over it because it was bad business for the church to talk about oneness. Then you don't need the priests, right? And so we saw very real how all of a sudden these religious structures just came and shut down all of Egypt, took it over, right? The whole planet. And we can really see how it's turned into what we're learning in today with these government religious kind of control systems. So, Poseidon, ruler of Atlantis. There are myths, many, that say the same thing, that Poseidon was a god. I guess he was one of the 12 Greek Olympian gods too, that's in the same text, right? They had Romans and Greeks have the same gods, but they won't admit it. In Greek, he's called Poseidon. In Roman, he's called Neptune. We should be familiar with Neptune if you're a Pisces, right? We have a lot of Neptune energy hitting the planet right now. Neptune would be like a spiritual teacher of sorts. It would be, the unconscious, the spiritual, probably one of the most powerful planets there are. So it does align astrologically too. He was a ruler at that time, right? We can look back during those times and where those gods came from too. He was a ruler of Atlantis. He merged with a human woman and created the Atlanteans. They had the blood of the god. I think we can see very real scientific evidence to see that, some of these negative blood types do have merged blood of the god types within them still, and immense abilities at times and things like that. So you can see genetically that, there is a lot of different genetics here, even though we may all look the same. These people were half god, like I said. They had immense powers and abilities, and they fell out of favor with the gods. And in a single night, their whole utopia was destroyed. I believe they waged a war on Greece. It was the final straw. And they actually lost the war, even though they shouldn't have, and then their whole island got destroyed. There is some speculation that they used, I believe tried to use alien technology to stop these events too. That it was something they tried very hard to prevent at that point when they knew what was coming for them. Their whole island sank. Clearly people survived, or these records would not have been passed down orally in whatever regard. But most of the island died in a single night. And, I think that we could see what can happen when we use our abilities to wage spiritual wars on others. That we saw the consequences of this. This is something we lived through. It's why everyone gets terrified of end times prophecy scenarios. When I say pole shift, everyone freaks out around here. I try to be like, this is a good thing this time, I swear. And if I even mention the words, everyone starts to freak out, right? It's why people have this fear of these prophecies, because we lived during very real ones and we're living during them again. We're on the same collision course we were on then. Things out of our control, right? Same collision course, but this time we can change it. This time we can wake up, and instead of being assholes, yeah, some people are assholes. I don't want to give them my knowledge either, right? They're assholes to me. Why would I want to give someone who's being an asshole to me my knowledge and information? Why not? Let's just leave them where they're at, right? But we need to change that mindset. We need to see that if we can lift up one person, a 3D timeline collapses, and we lift up the collective. One person waking up has powerful effects for all of us on this collective. Their entire 3D timeline collapses in. So it's very important that we share our knowledge. I have a good balance of it because I try to put what I can on video and get it out there, and anyone can watch it, right? I try to have a good balance of it. I try to have my job through my site so that I can be on video and trying to put some knowledge out there. And I know everyone thinks like, what were they teaching in these real Atlantean mystery schools? The same things we were teaching now, which is ascension and how to master your energy. It's exactly the same stuff, using crystals, gridding, right? The same stuff that we're talking about now every single day. So we need to understand that through the channels on this planet, this Atlantean knowledge has already been brought back. They say America has to fall for Atlantis to rise. I know everyone talks about Lemuria, but while I may be connected to those frequencies, galactically, I have a remembrance of Atlantis, and the universe won't even show me a lot. Swear to God, I'm putting out what I know on video. The universe won't even let me delve into some areas of this place. It is very important that we stay focused on where we are now, that we stop looking back, and that we master these tests and these lessons for using our abilities to serve other people. It's just so important. So there are a lot of blocks people will find when you're trying to delve into your Akashic and explore Atlantis and maybe other past places, that there are very real blocks. And like I said, this is our school. We can't have the answers to the tests ahead of time. If you could remember all that, it would fucking mind shock you as to why we're here and how all of our lessons are kind of coming together on a collective level too. You'll find you may run into blocks. concerning these places. I got very stern warnings like that, right? Be careful with your abilities, things like that. Things I've been getting from day one, that I knew that you can be polarized as a channel very easily. Yeah, we're all channels, that you could be polarized and you could lose your abilities for good. So we have to be very careful with these abilities if we want to amplify them and continue, you know, to move forward and level up faster on whatever level. I always knew that. Edgar Cayce got polarized. Yeah, even though Law 1 references Edgar Cayce and says he was not channeling spirits, he was channeling source energy. There was no entity through him, right? He was doing what I do. I really like him because he has a lot of the same abilities I have with remote viewing and healing. And he got polarized. like would have lost his abilities for good. For channeling service of self type things for people. That's why I'm real weird about my readings and stuff. It's very important in how we're using these abilities. This planet will be able to do the same things that we could do back then. Levitation, telekinesis, crazy shit, and we're headed back there as the frequencies are going up. We're figuring out, you know, that it's activating our DNA and bringing out these spiritual abilities on so many levels. This was a place that was not in balance, though. Egypt was more in balance. Masculine, feminine, I mean, as balanced as we've probably seen, right? It wasn't. It was very feminine. It was very feminine based Atlantean until we had the masculine influence that led to all those wars and destruction, right? So it actually began as a very feminine based place where people were very tuned into the intuitive side of things, the spiritual on very many levels. We need balance. We need balance. And I think there's this collective fear about the opposite sex. It doesn't matter if you're a guy or girl of what could happen, right? I mean, like with how you could get the wrong person and it could go bad, things like that. But we need balance on every level. We're going to have to come together with the awakened feminine and masculine to do that during our time. That was something that was lacking in a lot of these places. Oh, the crystals. I'm so happy. Like, you wouldn't even believe. I know some people have been watching my story, but I got a lot of new people switching timelines. And I started at ground fucking zero. I'm not exaggerating. Like, me and Vanessa and living in hotels in California for months. Ground zero. Walked away from my whole life. And it was a calling bigger than myself, clearly. And when I was trying to decide what I want to do, because the universe is like, are you ready to go on into the unknown? And I knew it would be fucking harder than anyone could imagine, and it was. And when I'm looking around at my nice house and all my nice shit, I'm thinking, well, I built this reality. I built this whole reality I'm standing on. I always have, right? I'm a little worker bee, I build. And I'm like, okay, I can do this again. I can do this, right? And I went out into the unknown. Nothing worked out as planned the entire time. You just have to learn how to go with the flow with the universe and where it's taking you. And it was hard as fuck. And then I'm in California and, you know, I do what I do. And then I left everything again. 2 resets in a year that were over the top. I'm talking walked away with just my stuffed animal. No clothes, just walked away with nothing, okay? Into the unknown. You know, I never have financial resources to do any of this fun stuff I need to do either. Just walked away, okay? No money, no plan, just did it with just my mission. Here you go. And here I am, and I am building. And I have busted my ass the past 8 months that I've been on this island. You wouldn't believe the healing, the clearing I've done, the rebuilding with this house, just everything. And I'm so proud of myself. Like, I can just chill. And I'm just like, yesterday, I'm just chilling all day. And I'm like, I'm so proud of myself that, you know, my husband had ascension flu yesterday. And I just took the day off. He needed a healer, right? And I'm glad I can do that. I'm glad I have a life where I can work when I feel like it, do what I want. I can wear my pajamas to work today. I'm feeling like a pajama day. And I can do that. Because, you know, on my 9-to-5 jobs, if I showed up in my pajamas, I probably would have got fired. Or 3 hours late, or whatever it is. So I'm just so proud of myself. And sometimes we have to take crazy risks to get where we want to be, right? Crazy risks. And everyone thought I was out of my mind again. They always do. Everyone thinks I'm nuts talking about Peru. Like, she's not going there. Yeah, right. and I'm just over here like, whatever. So, you know, and I got a lot of haters on the way. I added 2 more people to our hater list this morning. That's unheard of. We only have 6 people on there, to my knowledge, in the past couple of years. We added 2 more haters on there. So me and Brittany are getting haters already. So we must be doing something right. And I said, if I have haters now, I'm at ground zero. Look at my life. I'm at ground zero. I'm rebuilding my mission once again from the bottom up. Like, no joke. When I left, I reset my whole mission too. Everything I have worked for years. Like, I woke up, had my spiritual awakening, rebuilt my life in a spiritual sense, and then I just left again. And I literally had just wiped out my whole mission, classes, everything with it, like an over-the-top kind of way. And now you guys can watch me rebuild my mission again. A lot of you guys are about to start missions or just starting them or getting ideas about how to use your abilities and creativity to maybe unplug from the matrix. And I guess it's really good because when I built my mission in the first place, it was very inspiring to the people watching so they could watch me work and see what I'm doing around here and then get ideas, and they're all doing missions now. So I guess I'm rebuilding from the bottom up, and I couldn't be more happy about it that I already have drawn back everything that I probably walked away from almost on every level already. It's already back around me, everything I ever even walked away from. So it is so worth it. Sometimes you need to do that on your life. So the worst time is when you're building with the wrong person. If you're in a relationship, yep, you've been building with whoever you're dating. Sometimes we build with the wrong people. That's the reason to walk away. Maybe start building something on your own. Get your abilities back. So we got necklaces. When we were in London, Nicola bought Francisco a necklace and put it on Facebook. And me and Sherry were jealous, right? We said. And we want moldavite because I live in England and it's impossible to get this rock, one rock here. It's impossible to get. You'll get like the littlest tiny piece for like expensive, right? So me and Sherry got our own necklaces ordered. Sherry gets a matching one when we were in London, and it just came today, so I'm really excited. I think I'm going to get my mother-in-law one and tell her that it's space rock, alien crystal, just so I can tell her it's an alien crystal. So I'm really excited. This is an alien rock. My other favorite kind of crystal, of meteorite, I always forget what it's called now. I have a favorite meteorite that I love. It's an alien rock. I have a bunch of it with my crystals Mike has, so I'm real into meteor rocks. I'm real into space crystals, right? Atlantis was built with crystal technology, all of its buildings. Like, that's why we're so drawn to Stonehenge and these rocks that had embedded crystal in them. In the compounds, it was built much like that. It has the 3 circles around it. And it reminds me of the rock formations in Avesbury that we went to, and a lot of these sacred site rock formations, you know that circles are powerful in healing and protection, and so they had the way they had the circles. It looks very similar to Stonehenge and some of these rock sites, the structure and formation of them. People don't know where Atlantis is. Let's get real. I believe that it's off the east coast of the United States. Actually, I believe it would have been in between England, the UK, and America, in the middle of the ocean there, and that it probably is right off the east coast of the United States. I believe that. I'm not sure if it will physically rise out of the water. Something might happen during this time of change, and it might actually come out of the water. I'm not sure. It's been predicted. It's been prophesied. Let's see. So they thought they found Atlantis several times. I remember as a kid seeing some magazine where they're like, we found Atlantis. I knew what Atlantis was as a kid. I know I'm a weird kid, right? I remember being very drawn to those articles. Yeah, I remember it. So they thought they found Atlantis in 2000. This would be the underwater city that was underwater for 2,000 years. It looks like Atlantis. They have that building structure underwater that looks kind of Atlantean, right? So they found this. I don't even know where. Probably in the Mediterranean. It was the exhibit me and Cherry went to. That's where they got all their Egypt stuff. It was found underwater. It had been underwater since at least Cleopatra's time. If you look at Atlantis, I believe it would have been occurring with Egypt. Yeah, even though it was the end of the last cycle and Egypt was the beginning, it was kind of meshed together. I don't even know. It was kind of meshed together in a lot of senses. You can see that from a lot of extraterrestrial type material channelings too, where they talk about having been at both places at the same time. So it would have been right around the same kind of time gap, like right pre-Egypt, around the same time when that was happening. Space rocks. Yep, we need them for our mission, and I'm putting scratch-off tickets on our mission budget for our next Stonehenge trip. we're gonna have to get some scratch offs and bring them to the rocks, because you know, these travel expenses. We need to go to Peru, we need to go to Tibet, I need to go to Australia. We're gonna need some travel cash, so I think I'll put some scratch offs on our expenses, so we can scratch some tickets off at the rocks. More scratch offs. Someone said that they were, I forget who, they were in some kind of casino and they saw it was on our awakening wall, that they saw a raw slot machine and they just went and played like they normally wouldn't. They said they played and won $500. Can we play more scratch offs, please? I know. You have to know that you'll win. Know the universe is trying to send you hella cash for your missions. More mastery of the mind and we'll see more winners. We can just manifest any outcome we want simply by staying high vibe and thinking about it in the right way. Crop circles, yeah. The Atlantis looks kind of crop circle-ish too. A lot of galactic influence. This was a time when extraterrestrials lived on the planet. Unfortunately, we saw the same thing with Egypt, where these deities, like Jesus, they weren't listening to the message, they were worshiping the messenger. They were worshiping the messenger instead of listening to the source messages coming through. We see this a lot. Look at Jesus. They have a whole religion about him, worshiping him, right? And they seriously might have forgot some of the messages he had. So, you know, we saw that a lot in ancient times too, where instead of regarding these as messengers of law, one, they were worshipped in a lot of ways. Hi Holly, we're talking about Atlantis. No, I haven't seen a cartoon movie about Atlantis. I need to bad. There's the spirit science one I saw. I'll put the link again. I gave it to someone who says she's trying to teach kids in some kind of school she's a teacher at about the pyramids being made through telekinesis, and they couldn't grasp the concept. Yeah, they're already indoctrinated and enslaved at that point and fluorided out of their minds. Good luck trying to teach little 10-year-olds that kind of stuff, or however they are at that point, right? They're not even open to it. But they're open to slaves made the pyramids on so many levels. I got some more crystals. I ordered some crystals like this like a month ago, and I'm starting to get them in the mail. Royal mail is slow. I'm going to be doing more grading. Here, wait, I got something nice. Doing my usual, not feeling like doing videos today. So, I got some feathers. What is it? They're like fairy size. I got some fairy size feathers. Like a bunch of them, right? They're supposed to be ethically sourced. They're illegal in the US, but they're legal in the UK, I noticed. Right? I noticed that they are illegal in America, but apparently, according to the site I bought them on, they're legal in the UK. It's cutting out. It might be your device, because it's usually really clear in here. That's why I didn't go in the pyramid. I would be in there every day, but it tends to cut my device out. The sun's coming back. I heard birds chirping this morning. Spring is on the way. Which I couldn't be more excited about. We need to connect more. When it warms up outside, we need to be outside a lot more so that we're on the Earth's frequencies more, because the Earth is kicking ass at her ascension. Her vibration's going up crazy. She's pulsating, vibrating, and we need to really connect with nature more. It will really heal us on deep levels, connect us better to the Earth, which is very powerful. So we have up and down energy, like I said. And so we're in a space storm, but we should be resting right now. You guys know that, right? The cycles are changing. I have concern about it with people who haven't mastered their energy and might not be consciously aware of what's happening, getting kicked around in this energy and not being able to handle it as good. More self-care. We have solar winds incoming. Incoming solar winds. They will reach a peak probably Saturday and Sunday. So we see we've been getting hit pretty steady with some kind of solar energy, and I'm not sure what's happening to the sun or our cycles or all this moon energy as well. But you can see that the energy cycles are intensifying, and as that is happening, we're purging more. Why the purging? Well, it's our job to purge out all the darkness on the planet we brought here. It might just go with why we're here in Atlantis, right? A lot of darkness hit this planet with that fall in consciousness and lack of spiritual understanding. And, you know, we're supposed to bring the light back. You can't fight darkness with darkness. You can't fight hate with hate. You need to anchor better more light into this place and brighten it up, light it up, right? You can bring light into the darkest of places. So you'll notice that the light workers are probably purging more garbage out. On karmic levels, on collective levels, we tend to have got harder lessons, more collective garbage to clear, stuff like that. This is a soul purge. It's not just physical, or he would be done purging, right? This is a spiritual soul purge with this energy hitting the planet. It is, yes, physically detoxing you, but it's also, doing stuff to you on a soul level. And any kind of old emotions, garbage, triggers, all that bullshit is going to come to the surface now so that you can heal it and you can clear it and you can release it on some level. This is the day of purification, the Hopi talk about right now, today. I look at their languages and some of these prophecies, they had language translation issues. When I studied, it was the same with like Hebrew and Arabic that I studied. They had a lot of, same with the Bible, translation issues, right? It was translated several times. So I look at it like when they say a day, they're talking about more like a period or a time, right? A time, a day. So we're talking about a time of purification right now, and this is it. We've been a year into it, and we have a year left, and things are going to be much more intense, astrologically and in an energy sense this year, but we should be handling the energy better and better. You should be feeling like you're looking and feeling better and better. All the garbage is coming out. If you have a bad day and I see people emotional, crying, right? Just know that the next day you're going to feel amazing and a lot lighter. So since Atlantis was a place that was one with the sea, like I said, they probably could breathe underwater. If you look at babies, it's not too far-fetched. They're breathing in the womb, right? So it's not very far-fetched. They had a lot of healing knowledge that we're bringing back now, clearly, that we remember on some level, and we're kind of bringing back and teaching now. But they used chlorella there. It was huge for healing. Crystals, huge. On every level. They had a lot of crystal technology for healing and stuff like that, but they were huge with the chlorella, right? Which is a CLJ. Good, garage sale. I'm sending manifest energy. Good. Just clean the crap out of your house. You'll get new stuff. Look at me. I walked away from my whole life, and now I have new stuff that I like better, that's more of a vibrational match to who I'm becoming. Oh, telepathically to low. I've been telepathy, and you guys too. I'm feeling very telepathically tuned in the past 2 days. Like really telepathically connected on so many levels where, if someone's thinking about you, I don't always have to comment on the wall. I'm sending love, and I know you guys can feel it on some level. So we're picking up vibrations better and better. We're picking up, telepathic messages. I see people downloading crazy around here. Rapid downloads. It's warming up here. I took a picture or a pic of the dog, and then I saw how dirty the window was, and I went on a glass cleaning mission. I was just doing some cleaning, right? My new thing. Doing some cleaning. I saged the house really good. The whole house, like sage overload, and I don't care because it's a space storm and I don't need any of those, thought frequencies around my house from yesterday. It's a new day. So I expert level sage my house. I have my usual doors and windows open, even though it's like, sub-zero temperatures here. I had the door and window open like an hour or two. Saged my house, let some fresh air in, and you won't believe how that'll change the frequency of your house so fast, getting some fresh air and some new energy in your house. More sage. Bethany, yes, I do. I'm very telepathically connected, so if someone is being an asshole to me and thinking of me, I can feel it in a minute. Too. I can tell when people think of me, like on a lot of senses. Yeah, I'll feel it. I'll be able to tell someone's connecting to my energy. Last night I had someone that I haven't talked to in like 3 years that was thinking of me clearly, because I'm real telepathically tuned in, and I can tell. It's like, yeah, things I'm trying to leave behind me too, right? But I can tell. That's why it's important we get rid of toxic connections, because if people are thinking about you, they're connecting to your energy on some level, right? So if you have some like narcissist sitting there thinking toxic thoughts about you, it's going to drain you. It's going to have a negative effect on your energy. They've done so much scientific research to show that I could be sending you love here, and it will positively change and affect your body and have a good effect on like your blood pressure and your pulse and stuff. And if someone's thinking negative thoughts, it could be across the planet, you're gonna feel it in a negative sense. You might feel anxiety, your heart rate might go up, your pulse might go up. We're learning that we are all interconnected, and if half this planet sleeps, we're fucked. We need the government to wake up. We need the whole planet to wake up and create a new utopia and, you know, a spiritual path, and set aside the material control drama bullshit that we're seeing playing out on very real levels still. So we need everyone to wake up. And that was a mistake that we made in past times, where, you know, we were okay with hiding this knowledge and keeping certain groups of people asleep, and that's how the demise came about. If we're not using our abilities to help people, they're just a waste. What's the point of having them if you can't make positive changes with it? So we're getting our abilities back very slowly, doing this ascension, because we are being tested all the time, just in how we treat people, how we're using these abilities and things like that. Yes, I was cutting my cords. I was in the bathtub too. Good. Then I could tell I wasn't thinking about them. I cut their cords, and I was like, I don't want this person near me ever again. Not in my reality. Free will. I just do free will barriers with everything. I'm in like my own little quarantined area, and I'm weird about who I'll give access to, so I put barriers up just for certain people like that, right? Swear to God, not in my reality. I'm good. So, we're meant to be coming back with a new perspective. It's why we can't remember a lot of things. It's so that we focus on where we are now. Yeah, it's for very real purposes. The universe didn't like that whole scenario. The universe didn't like it. Wiped it out. Reset. Let's do something else. You have to kind of flow with the universe. It has the final word on everything, right? On everything. We have free will and we can do what we want, but there's ultimately this universe that's in control of this whole clusterfuck. So it's very important to recognize that the universe wants us to focus on who is here now and what we're doing. And that's why we have these blocks, because we're meant to create something new and something different with the knowledge that we have on a cellular level of how things went. So you might not consciously remember these places, but you're unconsciously very aware of what happened and what ended up happening on some level. And we're meant to focus on, you know, changing the outcome of this. Hi, Crystal. Barriers. You're in control of your entire reality. Everything you're thinking about, you're going to create. Not what other people are trying to create for you, I always say, right? I'm reading the comments. Hi, Jamie. We're talking about Atlantis, and it just really ties into what we're doing here right now. Every day. Why we've been led here to try to change and help humanity on some level. We're working our abilities back. Through this light work and this spiritual work that we're doing, we're gaining our abilities back. And you know that ascension's a hard road. Like Mike said, everyone would just ascend into rainbow light bodies and get out of here, right? You know that you have to work really hard to be doing this. So, you know, through this hard work, we're getting our abilities back. We're earning them back, though. They're not just going to flood back to us. We have to earn them through our tests and challenges and things going on in our everyday life and how we're using them. We're building walls. My house is a quarantine zone, so you should see my face when I have cops knocking on my door. This is a galactic quarantined zone, and I think galactic quarantines take precedence over human law. I'm not sure. There is a lot of speculation that extraterrestrials may have either created humanity or at the least manipulated our DNA. I'm not sure. But I'm having an epic battle of free will here, if you haven't noticed. An epic battle. That's my only weapon in all of this, that I have free will as a co-creator to be experiencing my own reality the way I want it. So that's all I can really use around here, right? Free will. It's what I can do. Just make it clear. Not in my reality, against my free will. I don't want it near me. We're going to find free will is powerful. It's why everyone wants to go to Earth School. Believe it or not for rest or leisure, right? Everyone wants to go to Earth School in some sense, because we have free will to do what we want here on some level, but we're learning that, you know, through our karmic lessons, this life, that if we do something negative to someone, it comes back to us. We learned how karma works. We learned the laws of the universe, whether we're aware of it or not, just by going out and doing our path, we learned, you know, that whatever energy we're putting out comes back to us, that we need to be very careful with the thoughts we're having, with the energy we're putting out, things like that. Hi Sarah, I'm wasting time like usual. Talking Atlantis, I'm going to start to put a lot of Atlantis stuff out the best I can. Channeled Atlantis stuff. I did look on Google, I couldn't find any fun videos on it yet. If I find any fun YouTube videos, I've been posting them on the wall, like on things like crop circles, right? Atlantis, Egypt, things you might be interested in. So I guess people are going to have to start making more YouTube videos around here. When I was looking for like Machu Picchu, Shasta videos, I think people need to really start to make more videos. Lisa, you're in Australia. I'll be there soon. I'm manifesting that now. You have some kind of beautiful sacred site that looks like a desert area with a plateau. I forget what it's called. I'm wondering if you live near there. They have a lot of beautiful sacred energy there. I could really use to work on my solar plexus too. So I like to go into these areas to work on specific chakras. It really helps me when I'm working on a certain chakra to go to the ley line areas and the energy near that chakra to master that chakra. So I will be coming there. Everyone just thinks I'm nuts right now, but I'm going to be talking about it to create it on some level. Hi Cameron, we're talking Atlantis. You guys should be very drawn to these places. I think they had that. I didn't see, I don't remember that. I think it's Aquaman, but I didn't watch it. I think my husband had it on, and I probably saw like 5 minutes ago. I think they have an Atlantis movie. But just the fact that you're seeing a lot of sci-fi type shit come out with people with superhuman abilities and superheroes, and Atlantis stuff is coming out more into the open. These were places that they used to talk about. Like I said, I saw a Times News article when I was a kid about Atlantis, but they stopped talking about Egypt and Atlantis because they don't want to wake us up, right? They don't want us to remember this stuff, so they kind of stopped putting information out about it, but we're seeing more of it come out now, doing this awakening, that this kind of information is coming out more. Like you're seeing more stuff on TV about it and whatever. We got a good energy exchange. Energy exchange, it is everything. They were teaching the same stuff in these mystery schools that we're talking about now. How to raise your vibration, how to purify the body to make a spiritual ascension, DNA. All the same stuff that we're talking about now, that was what was taught in these places. And, you know, you see that there's a lot of this Atlantean knowledge that was stolen by the Masons. They stole a lot of our Atlantean knowledge. They claim they're protecting the Mary Magdalene bloodline, but from my experience, they seem to target that bloodline for their abilities. Portal capabilities. So they say that they're protecting this knowledge and that they can't let it out into the open or the battle use it against people. But no, they are doing the same shit forever, taking the knowledge through murder, plundering it, think the queen, plundering people, taking the knowledge, stealing it, and keeping it hidden on so many levels. But if it makes you feel better, they cannot use this knowledge. They can't use it anyway. They can't even interpret it. So, if it makes you feel better, they have lost the capability to use any information they may have hoarded in their dark palaces and whatever, like on every level, because you need spiritual purity to be accessing the spiritual realms and spiritual dimensions on some level. So that does make me feel a little bit better about all the stolen history and information that they do have hidden. Did you guys see the Pope making out with that guy on the news article I put on the anonymous page? Speaking of dark palaces, that was the Pope. I'm scrolling down Facebook. It was on RT News where he was like tongue kissing some Middle Eastern Arab leader. He was making out with him. There was tongue. I saw the picture. And they were like French kissing, like the Pope and this like Middle Eastern leader or something. I put it on the anonymous page. Are you paying attention? I was just wondering what was up with that, right? And then then I'm scrolling down Facebook this morning, and someone on Francisco's page has a picture of the Pope with a black eye, Bush, all of them, right? All the elite with black eyes. I think they might have their own fight club going on. That was the first thing that came to mind. The Pope and Bush fight club, right? They may have their own fight club going on based on those pictures. I'm not sure. So we come from places where knowledge has been hidden for a very long time. They want to keep humanity asleep and dumbed down. where it's considered occult knowledge, right? Occult. So this is our reality for a long time. Knowledge being hidden, all of humanity being, you know, kept in the illusion, the American dream, and used as a slave to work on a lot of levels. We're seeing, you know, how that has carried on for so long around here. I don't know, it's crazy. I did not hear about the nuns and sexual slavery. Nothing shocks me with the church. We were talking about masturbation in some Gnostic group because they were saying it was evil. And I said, repressed sexual energy is bad. If you don't believe me, just look at some of these priests and the shit that manifests out of that, okay? Yep, I'm going there. I'm manifesting. I'm going to these places. I'm going around this grid. If I'm going to be a light worker and I'm going to be making these connections, I'm going to meet you guys in real life. I'm getting off of here. I manifested someone. I did an Awakening to Ascension video, and she lives 30 minutes away from me in the UK and was talking about all sorts of interesting shit that I'm into that I just found. I had never seen my video before yesterday, and I found her on our class feed, and it was awesome. I'm manifesting real connections off of Facebook. I want to go adventure and explore and see the world from a spiritual viewpoint. I like to get out into the matrix and say crazy shit to people. Sherry knows. I like to try to wake up the people in the matrix and just say the most outrageous shit that just might click with them and give them like an instant awakening too. I like to go play in the matrix. Yes, please win the lottery. It won't help my situation though. This fucking queen. I'm still gonna keep working on it. You guys need to win the lotto. Mike could win the lotto. It's so good. He's always winning scratch-off tickets. Pisces, right? Some people, we need more scratch-offs around here. You need to be scratching them off when you're having one of those awesome days where you're just flowing and feeling amazing. More water. I did my usual. Woke up feeling like shit. I'm pounding water. I feel great now. More water. It will help you feel a lot better, too. Let me see. Okay, did I mention mermaids? Yeah, mermaids. Maybe I really was an Elenian mermaid. I wish. I needed salt like that. Mermaids. These were times when there were people living in the water, like I said, that people could breathe underwater. I think someone's mentioned the Little Mermaid. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they got that story from places like that. I'm pretty sure they did. So we see that there's a lot of on television mythical creatures, but these were times when they were very real. When I think of Lemuria, I think of dolphins and unicorns. Yeah, unicorns. Everyone thinks that's so crazy, but it's just a horse with a horn. Right? I mean, everyone thinks it's so outrageous and things like that, but you can see, like I said, babies can breathe in the womb, so I'm not thinking it's too outrageous that they really have people, you know, that were more connected to the ocean back then. I believe these places exist in the now. Yeah, they're destroyed on our timeline. Destroyed past places, but if you understand the natures of reality and time, you know, I mean, people talk about maybe Atlantis lifted off. Talk about maybe it lifted off like a spaceship city. But they do exist in the now on whatever level. They do. If you understand time, yeah, these are places that would exist in the now on some level. So they are very real places that are around now and accessible now. Let's see. Yep, these were very real places when we walked among gods. Till we fell out of favor with them, apparently. Till we fell out of favor with them. And we're being treated like little children here. That's why I don't like the word God. There's many gods, I feel, in this reality. There's so many. Go look at some of these past places. There's millions, right? How many deities do they have in these places? We're about to jump timelines again. I'm getting ready for it. I'm doing my rest in my pajamas, recharge. I'm getting ready for it on extreme levels. We're going to have a huge cosmic shift on the 18th, followed by a full moon, I believe, probably around the 21st. I'm not sure. So we're getting ready for an insane storm. And just as I'm working and setting the stage for my next storm, so is the universe, I notice. So a lot of this solar energy is the universe setting the energetic components up for this cosmic shift that we're going to go through like a gateway. And we have potential to really shift better timelines. Like, all it takes is us daydreaming about it, staying focused on what we want, and staying high vibe, which should be getting easier and easier. That even as you're dealing with like stressful shit in your everyday life, it should be getting easier and easier for you to kind of go into stressful situations, staying high vibe and getting through them fast. We should be learning how to master our frequency. That's what everything is about. Not us following down to everyone around us who's probably on a lower frequency, but us standing firm in our frequency and mastering it on some level. I'm going to go on this note because I'm going to do my real card feed and kind of disappear probably. I'm not sure, right? More self-care, more salt baths. I was in the bathtub for over 2 hours last night. Probably 2.5 hours. I would have stayed in there all night, but I had to go to bed. So more salt baths, it'll really help. More burning sage, more Palo Santo, more self-care, more decluttering your space, working on it. Whether it's throwing some tapestries and dream catchers up, some chakra art, right? Start to make your reality where you live look more spiritual and kind of reflect you on an internal state too. It will really help raise your frequency of your house on so many levels. All right, love and light.